the accusation of Senator Natasha on the Senate President Senator Godswill Akpabio might have reached its peak last week, but what we will be dissecting, like I said earlier, is what the lessons we could grab from this story. For those who don't know anything about this case, in Nigeria, one of the senators, Senator Natasha Akpabio, a female senator from Kogi State, representing her constituency from Kogi State, accused the Senate President of making sexual passes, or rather, let's call it the way she put it, sexual harassment. Yes. And there have been a lot of issues. Many have come to accuse her of wrongdoing. Some have even accused her of overreacting because of the change of seats by the Senate President. Some have also accused her of making this allegation because she was dropped as the chairman of one of these committees in the House, I think on local content. I'm not sure, correct me in the comment section. While others have been, feeling bad that this is a true case of what women in Nigeria and Africa at large pass through when they come up with cases like this against a superior male. Yeah, but I tried, like I said earlier, I tried to avoid this case because not just because it's before the court. Two, this kind of sexual harassment cases are quite difficult to prove because you find out that you hardly have like video evidences, because most times these things are kind of oral, just said maybe in form of jokes or in form of stuff like that that will make it very difficult to prove. And I decided that I'm going to look at the bright side of the story, which is the awareness this situation has brought up, which is about sexual harassment. At this point, I would like to say it is not only the female gender that pass through sexual harassment in this part of the world. The male too go through the same thing. Will I say maybe because they don't always talk about it, the culture thing about being a man, about situations. I feel that's why they don't talk about it. But I tell you also, the male go through it. And it's not sexual harassment. Sometimes it's not about superior and a lesser person. No, lesser person is the wrong word. A superior staff or superior officer and a junior officer. Sometimes it could be from down up. Yes. Now, before I dive into it, because I'm here to tell you how we can handle sexual harassment. For me, I've always been a type of person that believe in prevention is better than cure. If you know that common Nigerian saying, it's better to avoid it. It's better to prevent it from happening. It's easier to prevent it from happening than handling it. But I'm here to tell you the two ways you can handle it, from prevention to actually handling it when it happens. Because sometimes, even when you try to prevent it, some people will still call off your bluff and still, do it, So I'm here to tell you everything about it. One sure way to prevent this kind of harassment is by being unapproachable. Unapproachable does not mean that you don't interact with your colleagues or interact with people around you. At this point, I must say, though I'm referencing the trending issue we have in the Senate, that does not mean that this harassment does not happen in other places of work. It can happen in the offices. It can happen at home. It can happen at home with the domestic staff. It can happen in the church. It can happen in the family, within the family. It can happen anywhere. It's not like only an office thing. Oh, it can happen in the universities. The one we're even so used to is that of the university, sex for grade and all those harassment. It can happen anywhere. So referencing this point or referencing this trending issue does not mean that is not happening in other spheres of life. So you can apply what I'm about to say in every aspect. Yeah, wherever it now happens. Let me go to the preventive measures. The preventive measures is number one, just carry yourself well, be unapproachable. When you carry yourself well, it passes a message. Yes, even when those kind of men or women have such intention, but because of the way you carry yourself, you're unapproachable, it might end up as one of their dreams that will never come true. Yeah, they will never try that with you. Being unapproachable is all about respecting yourself. Don't crack some funny jokes, because I tell you, most of these things is passed through a joke. And at a point in time, if you joke with this kind of things, it looks like you are encouraging. In fact, you're sending conflicting messages. Yeah, with that action alone. So it's good to be principled, be unapproachable, and it should show in whatever you do, the way you carry yourself, the way you dress. You don't dress. That is not to say that dressing in a funny way excuses such behavior. Is not what I am saying. But we are looking at the preventive ways of handling this issue before we come into actually handling a situation whereby this kind of thing has happened or is happening. Now, dressing properly, it matters, because your dress, whether we like it or not, you dress the way you want to be addressed. Yes, if you dress in a manner that sends the wrong message and is not your belief, it's conflicting. Like I said earlier, the way you are judged by the way you dress. If you wear all those transparent clothing, all those tight-fitted stuff that will show all parts of your, womanly parts, if you know what I mean, it might be sending a wrong message. It might be sending a wrong message. Another sure way to prevent this is to avoid such environment. What I mean by avoiding such environment, we are all adults, yeah? So when these guys or these women begin to make these passes, they come with some non-verbal cues, if you know what I mean, the body language. Once you begin to get such body language from a person and you're not comfortable with it, why not avoid such person? Yes, avoid environment that puts you in a compromising situation or in a compromising way for such person to begin to tell you this kind of things. I believe that if you avoid, once you see that this person is beginning to make those kind of passes at you, and you begin to avoid going to their houses, avoid hanging out with them if you used to do that before, avoid all those things, it will send the message that, okay, this thing you're about to do, I am not interested. I believe it won't provide any opportunity for somebody to say such thing. And before you know it, such feelings will die down or will be overtaken by events. With all these things being said, I know some people are very adamant. They go for what they want. They don't even send you. They don't send your high-handedness, your strict demure and all of that. They will still go ahead, especially the men. I'm not saying women don't do it. Women do it, but it's common among the men. They will still go, what the heck? The highest thing you can do, what can you do after all? They go ahead and, make these passes and make this sexual harassment in quotes. One sure way to do that is to be clear about your message. Verbally call such person out, not in a rude way anyway. You tell this person, I don't want these passes you're making, and this passes you're making is beginning to affect our job, or you feel is beginning to influence some certain decisions against me. You discuss with such person. I believe when you tell people what they are doing, they know that you are aware, and they become aware too. They know that they are not supposed to mess around with you, that you sure know your right, and you sure know what they are doing. And I tell you, it works. They will sit up. They won't want to proceed with such. Another sure way to handle it is to report to necessary authority. Yes, report to necessary authority. If it's in a workplace, of course, there's authority in the workplace. If it happens that is the person that is the authority, that has the authority, that is actually doing this kind of thing, there must be a way out. There must be associations to report such matters. There must be, some way to, report this action, and the person will be reprimanded. So is to report, make it official, tender an official report. And in so doing, brings me to my next point. You just have to have evidence. Yes, at this point, evidence is very, very important, because I want to say that we know this kind of cases. People have victimized people with this kind of accusations. Yes, many women especially have gotten away with situations, maybe ill or wrongdoings, with this accusation. Oh, he is asking me out. Oh, he's mixing, sexually harassing me, and all of that to get out of his situation. We know these things. We are not here to pretend. I know you know. I know you've heard of something like that. If you don't know, I'm telling you that it is common. Women do that a lot. Even men do it. Yeah, men do it also. But it's common with the women, That's the only way they could explain maybe one mediocre act. They will just use, no, he's just after me. That's why he's always complaining about this, that. But most times, that's not the situation. Most times, that is not so. That makes it very important for you to have evidence. It can be video recording. It can be a second party, a second or a third person witnessing such harassment or such passes. You just have to have evidence, because women have so abused this process, have so abused this thing, that is only evidence that can justify what you are saying. And it's so unfortunate that most times these things are just oral, and when it happens, it's not like you are expecting it to happen. Except I've heard of situations whereby these people set up the predator, maybe, go with, maybe they go with a recorder or a video or audio recorder without the person knowing, and be in such a place that they know this person will feel comfortable to begin to repeat himself, to make those passes and those threats and all of that. Then you can quickly capture it with those recorders. If not, it is quite difficult, because it's your word against his or her word. So you see why I said prevention will always be better than cure in this situation. But sometimes, like I said, it will sure happen even when you've tried preventing. But don't be discouraged. Go ahead to report such matter, whether with evidence or not with any evidence. You know why I'm saying this? Even if you don't have any evidence, and this matter is kind of, watered down because you don't have evidence to prove your case, it has drawn attention to the situation. It has created this awareness that I believe onlookers, colleagues, and people in general will begin to watch the two of you to see if there's actually any case of such thing that went on. I tell you. So don't feel so, because you don't have evidence, nobody is going to believe you and all of that. And say nothing. Just say something. Say something. It might not go the way you planned it because you don't have evidence. But I tell you, there's this fulfillment it will give you, and it will begin to check that person. Yes, because he or she knows that you are not ready to take it lying down with them. They will be careful with you, and I bet you they won't make such passes anymore. Let the conversation continue in the comment section. Like I always say, I'm not epitome of knowledge, so you can share many other ways we can prevent or handle sexual harassment in the comment section. And if you love this video, remember to give it a like, share it as well. See you soon.